So I wanted to go into some what's currently going on. Uh, I just watched back my first video and I realized that it can come off very dry and emotionless a little bit. A lot of that is like, if you dig too deep into what's going on, the grief can come up. The grief of what you're dealing with, the grief of what you can lose, of what you have lost in your life. So first and foremost, I'm not a professional at this. I'm shooting this with my iPhone. So I'm just trying to get something out there. And so it's not gonna be the best quality, but I want to be able to express what I'm going through. And so this is very raw. And so right now, I'm looking for a living donor. That's the main thing that I'm dealing with right now. Also, because I'm active on the transplant list, I'm getting, every 6 weeks, I'm seeing my kidney specialist, blood work for function, and then monthly I'm doing blood work for the transplant center. For them to use, if we do find a donor, to mix with their blood to make sure that it's going to be compatible. With all of those things, it's a lot, and it's a lot mentally, physically, and financially. It's really the 10 years of doctor visits and a hospital stay, and you're just trying to keep ahead of things. This year has just been very difficult financially. Even with insurance, it only covers, I have a high deductible plan, so nothing is covered up to like $4,000, and then your out-of-pocket max goes up to like $10,000. So there's money coming out even with insurance, and because I have 3 kids and wife, I have an health savings account. It gets drained with everything going on, and I'm even paying for payment plans for 2 big medical things that happened a couple years back. So in 2021, the end of the year, is when I went under 20% function. So that was when I basically applied to get on the kidney transplant list. And that process is very extensive, and can be very expensive with all the different tests and CT scan and all the different things that they're doing, visits. So I'm still paying for that at the same time with all the other blood work. The monthly blood work is over $1,000 a pop for the transplant center. So that, takes a hit. So all those things are the major stressors that I'm dealing with right now. I'm at a point right now where I'm more stressed about being a burden to my family financially than I am even about getting the transplant. Those things are just, I've already dealt with that. I've already processed that. I spent years thinking about that. But once this elevated active status on the transplant list came, it came with a lot more visits, blood work, and expenses. So that's my major stress right now. Finding a transplant, hopefully a living donor. At the same time, I could get a call anytime, or I couldn't. And then just being able to juggle and manage I work a full-time job. I work as many extra hours as I can. And I've worked overtime or extra hours for right at 9 years now. And the majority of that's gone towards medical expenses. And yeah, it starts to weigh on you after time. And that's one thing I would say to anyone that's dealing with this, early on, get prepared, buckle down, start saving. You're trying to juggle, how serious this is going to be in this life. And with any chronic disease, even with having halfway decent insurance, you're still going to have to pay a substantial amount out of your pocket. And you're trying to live your life. I'm trying to take care of my kids, trying not to let this disease not only affect them mentally, and knowing that this is what we're dealing with, but I don't want to come to them and say, well, you can't have this, or you can't do this, or we're not doing this because we financially can't afford it because we have to pay all these medical bills. So you're trying to juggle all of those things, and it becomes a lot because you're trying to be a good dad, and you're trying to provide for your family and work a job, and at the same time you're getting more and more exhausted and physically drained. And then the mental drain of, how am I going to pay for all this? How long I'm going to be out of work? Those kind of things hit you hard. So next time I'm going to discuss some more what happened 2020, because COVID changed the game for everybody. It was such a stressful time, those few years there for a lot of people, and it literally changed our world. And especially if you're dealing with a chronic disease in that time, you're really not wanting to get any other kind of sickness, and because you don't know what it's going to affect the current disease that you're dealing with. So next time I'm going to discuss that, but those things, some of the things that I'm dealing with currently. So we'll talk again soon.